Hello. Hey, this is a really good story. It's called Grandma McGarvey Goes to School. It's a story by Jenny Hessel and illustrated by Trevor Pye, and it's a wonderful scholastic book. Grandma McGarvey Goes to School. When Grandma McGarvey went walking one beautiful morning in May, she saw a sign at the end of the street that took her breath away. And there she is. We can't actually see what's on the sign yet, but I'm thinking it's very important. Welcome to Frimley School, it said, for our annual Grandparents' Day. And the sign we now know says, Welcome to Frimley School for our annual Grandparents' Day. Grandparents' Day? She breathed with delight. Now that sounds pretty cool, but I'll need to get myself ready if they want me to go back to school. And it looks to me like it's a long time since Grandma McGarvey was at school, just like me. When Grandma McGarvey returned to the school, she quickly joined a line of boys and girls who stood in rows outside room number 9. They were pushing and shoving and falling about, and one stood on Grandma's shoe. You mind your manners, she hissed at him, or I'll tell the teacher on you. Oh dear. And there's something interesting about Grandma McGarvey. She's dressed up in her old school uniform by the looks. And that wee boy there, I think he's got a bit of a fright that he's seen Grandma McGarvey in the line. When Grandma McGarvey sat on the mat with her arms crossed over her chest, she whispered, I bet when she looks at the class that the teacher will say, I'm the best. But the teacher didn't say a word, though her eyes nearly popped from her head. She paused and frowned, then drew herself up. Good morning, class, she said. It's a bit funny. Now, who would like to clean the board? Oh, let me, squealed Grandma, please. And she banged the dusters till clouds of chalk made all of the children sneeze. Then they sat at their desks for a spelling test, and Grandma got 10 out of 10, though she had to cheat just a little bit, and the ink spurted out of her pen. Uh-oh. There was reading and writing and science and maths. Grandma's head was beginning to spin, and the dog who had eaten 3 pieces of chalk picked 3 pieces of chalk, threw up in the waste paper bin. That is so funny. At lunchtime, the children shared sandwiches and biscuits with lollies on top, and Grandma offered some spinach cake, but nobody wanted to swap. I don't think I would either. Then someone drew up a hopscotch court, and Grandma ignored all the stares as she tucked her gym slip into her bloomers and hurtled off through the squares. She's a funny grandma, isn't she? In the afternoon, it was painting time, and Grandma began to shout, Painting is one of my favourite things! And she sloshed the colours about. Oh my goodness, they're going everywhere. And she showed them how to paint their faces and how to make rainbow balls, and to dip their fingers into the pots and do handprints all over the walls. Oh dear. Goodness me. She's teaching them some bad habits, isn't she? At last it was time for show and tell. Pick me, hollered Grandma, pick me. And she pushed her way to the front of the class where all the children could see. She told them tales of her magical shed, which she painted with zodiac signs, and the time she nearly did herself in a tangle of bungee jump lines. And the class grew hushed, and the teacher gasped, and the dog began to bark when she told them how, in a dreadful storm, she had battled a man-eating shark. Oh, I don't know if that's really true. Grandma McGarvey likes to tell stories, I think. Goodness me. You think she's telling the truth? Then she finished her talk with a dazzling display of head over heels gymnastics, though her bloomers occasionally got in the way. And she nearly snapped the elastic. Oh my word. I think she's a real trick, that Grandma McGarvey. And when the bell rang, the children yelled, "We want Grandma to stay." "I can't," she beamed. "But it's certainly been a splendid Grandparents' Day." "What do you mean?" The teacher frowned. "This isn't Grandparents' Day." "No." And she showed her a sign at the back of the room. "That's still a week away." Then Grandma McGarvey's eyes grew wide and her mouth gave a little tweak. "Oh, well," she laughed, "there's no harm done." We'll do it again next week. Oh my goodness. Do you think Grandma McGarvey had a lovely day? I think she did too. Do you have Grandparents' Days at your school? I bet they're lots of fun. Hey, until next time, my friends. Ka kite.